Right, let's talk about real estate now, the comeback of the property market. If you're going to have cash taken off the stock market as we did, a lot of it, of course, usually traditionally has gone into the property market. Today, we're going to touch base with Brigade Enterprises, who have seen a strong pipeline of ongoing projects. We'll ask them what the pricing strategy is, if the red hot inflation coupled with more expensive home loans can impact demand, and just what the future plans are. Pavitra Shankar, the executive director of the company, now joining us live right here on the show. Good morning. This is Nantara. So let's, I know you want to talk specifically about projects, etc., but my first question to you is the comeback of the property market. It's been so strong. It started maybe in the IT capital of Bengaluru and is now spilling over to the rest of the country. Is that still the case? Are prices moving up as fast as, and they were, let's say, 6 months from now than today?
Hi, morning. Thanks for having me. Yes, we've definitely seen a very strong momentum in the real estate sector, despite whatever news we have heard and also some of the challenges developers are facing in terms of rising input costs. Prices are definitely increasing. Of course, the amount of how much price is increasing depends on the kind of project, the kind of micro market. But in our portfolio, we've been able to drive pricing increases across the board, at various different percentages. And the most positive thing is that even in new launches, we are able to actually take up the prices quite significantly in the first few months of the launch. So overall, we are seeing this momentum not just in Bangalore, but also in Chennai and Hyderabad, which are the two other markets that we focus on.
Are you going to go to new geographies? Because you're seeing how things are going up, not just prices, but the market which is going up, the number of first-time buyers that are also entering the market and willing to buy a property. Because let's face it, till 2 years ago, we thought they only wanted to rent for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, definitely, post-COVID and in the middle of pandemic and so on, I think there were a lot of shifts that seemed quite intimidating and also quite difficult to see beyond that point in time. But like everything, things do revert to the normal, even if it is a new normal. So we are seeing that, people are interested in buying homes again. Actually, even the rental market is also strong, which means that people are coming back to urban centers for their workplace, even though there is some kind of hybrid workforce strategy. But overall, we focus on Chennai and Hyderabad in addition to Bangalore because we feel that all these three markets have similar and very solid economic fundamentals, both in terms of the local economies, how they're driven predominantly by the IT sector, which has so far been unscathed by whatever's happened globally in terms of demand or also in terms of services being required by companies across the globe for digitization and so on. So we've seen very positive growth in the IT sector, and that generally leads us to believe that first office space and then residential space will also pick up in these three markets. So these are our three areas of focus right now. We're not really considering entering new markets beyond these, but we're looking at deepening our focus and our market share in Chennai and Hyderabad specifically, since Bangalore is sort of home turf for us.
Okay, so Chennai, Bangalore, and Hyderabad continue to be the key focus areas. Pavitra, hi, this is Anisha also joining into the conversation and just taking the point forward that what Nayantara asked you regarding the pricing. You had indicated at the start of the year that there would be a price hike to the tune of 5% that might be taken throughout the year. Has that been taken? And more importantly, do you think the worst of the commodity pressure is behind us in terms of how the cool off has happened in some of the prices?
So in terms of the price hike that we communicated, we did not take it all at once. And in fact, we intend to keep doing it on a more palatable and acceptable basis so that it doesn't impact the sales velocity at our projects either. April, quite honestly, was a little, a little dampened because we had communicated price increases, whereas the rest of the market had maybe not done so. So definitely we felt some impact on that. But being consistent in our approach and showing the value to customers and for our brand has really helped. And I think that has helped us in the rest of Q1 to actually take up pricing wherever possible. So we will continue to do that on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis over the remainder of this financial year. In terms of input costs, like you mentioned, yeah, we have seen a bit of cool off, which is good to note, but the environment is still very volatile. And we also think that many of the global pressures haven't really gone away. Like the Russia-Ukraine war doesn't get talked about as much today, but it is still ongoing, and it is still having, impact on supply chain and disruption on that side. So until globally a lot of the capacity is built back, I think we will still have issues and supply chain disruptions. Also with China, its zero COVID policy, all of that is impacting on multiple levels also. So I don't think we're out of the woods yet. We still need to be cautious in terms of how much we can expect for cost increases, and therefore we intend to continue pushing prices wherever possible.
Certainly not out of the woods when it comes to the volatility that we are seeing in commodity prices, and that's something that you're watching out for. Just coming back to the Chennai project that you have recently launched, you've talked about how you're looking at a revenue potential of 1,500 crores from that. Could you talk to us about what's the timeline, or what's the trend when it comes to pre-sales, and more importantly, what's the launch pipeline looking like for the year?
So this Chennai project that we just communicated about is a joint development. It's in a market called Perumbakam in Chennai, which is off OMR, Old Mahabalipuram Road, near the Sholingnallur Junction. It's a great piece of land. As we had communicated also, we are expecting about 1,500 crores in total revenue from that project. It's a 2.1 million square feet development over 15 acres. So since we have just completed documentation, we are initiating design, and we'll start with the whole approval cycle shortly. This project should take about 5 years for us to complete, since we're looking at around 2.1 million square feet to build and sell. For the remaining launch pipeline, while we do have we do have a land bank in Chennai that we're building up. In the next 3 to 4 quarters, we don't see any immediate launches for Chennai, although we are working on all of those. However, for the remaining, for the business in Bangalore and Hyderabad, we do have total launches of about 8 million square feet for the fiscal year 23 that we have already launched a few in this past quarter, and will continue to do so over the next 3 quarters.
Pavitra, the Brigade stock was higher by 6% once news came out about this joint development agreement in Chennai. And I was just like, why is it up 6%? Because this is what real estate developers are supposed to do. They're supposed to sign agreements and build and launch projects. What was so special? It was something special about this project. I couldn't understand why a 6% up move.
I'm not sure I can claim to understand what the market does, but I think it is just a positive piece of news that we have another launch coming out, and it's in reaction to that. And also indication about future growth and re-emphasizing our plans for Chennai. So overall, I think it is just positive news for the sector, positive news for Brigade. And potentially, I would say maybe because it is in Chennai, which has been a little slower than, say, the Bangalore market to pick up. But we at Brigade feel that Chennai is definitely on the verge of a very positive upcycle. That's been shown in terms of the number of newer launches coming in the market, and also in terms of price increase seen across the Chennai market, according to multiple industry reports. So potentially that's the reason why we saw the price jump.
The news was announced today. The stock is trading 2% higher. Thanks a lot, Pavitra, for being live with us today on ETNow. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short commercial break, but stay tuned. Coming up on the other side, more money-making ideas. And we'll also head to Chandigarh, where there's a feisty GST Council meet, 2-day long one before the Finance Minister